We are live. Good morning, and welcome to your business in digital. Good morning, team. I missed you guys. How are you? Welcome back. Welcome back. How's it going? Michelle, Andrea, Michael, I see you all the time.
I can't believe we're back. We are back. Welcome. It's so good to see all four of us on one screen again. Hello, hello, hello. And it's so good to see everyone again.
It is good to see everybody. How was the summer?
Oh my God, it was great. The
It was
break was
really good.
good. The break was really good. I think I mean, I worked right through. It's not like I took any big vacation, but I think, just the little downtime of from the show, I think was really good. And I'm so excited to be back. I'm so excited to be back.
Oh, good. Well, we're glad for you guys to be back. Michael and I did our little summer wrap up. But
We did,
anyway,
we did.
we'll talk a little bit more about that. Let's get the show started so we can, kind of jump in and have all these interesting conversations. We have a whole intro to do. So let's jump in. Oh, well, I'm so excited, firstly, to have all the new pictures. But anyway, before we do that, let's talk a little bit about why we do this show. Good morning and welcome to Your Business in Digital. Your Business in Digital. This is the show where we talk to you about how to really grow your revenue through digital. We understand that digital can be daunting, right? It's the digital landscape, it's your infrastructure, it's all the things, it's the marketing, it's the KPIs. So we pull this show together. We bring together operations, marketing, sales, and finance to have a true stakeholder conversation about digital and how you can truly grow your business through digital. We want you to shift the conversation from likes and follows to I grew my revenue by 20% this year leveraging digital and digital marketing. So that's why we do this show, Your Business in Digital, so we can help you translate all the things to digital and we can really help you move your business forward. So super excited to be doing this show. Now, I know I have some homework that I need to get done out of the way, some little things. So first of all, we need you guys to connect with us. Connect with us on YouTube. We are broadcasting live on YouTube and LinkedIn right now. So connect with us on YouTube, connect with us on LinkedIn at Your Business in Digital. Also, we show up everywhere podcasts are found, right? So we are on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, everywhere you can find a podcast, we're there as well. So subscribe, follow us, because again, we give you really, really great insight. We're talking to those CFOs, we're talking to the CMOs, we're talking to the CEOs, we're talking to any key executive or stakeholder that really wants to grow their business through digital. And this is the way to do it. So check us out at Your Business in Digital. All right. So I got the homework out of the way. So let's come back and chat a little bit, guys. So summer was good. Michelle, did you have a good summer?
I had an oops, I almost said something. I had a wonderful, awesome summer. I did some travel. I had a social media hiatus along with the show hiatus. I just connected for a moment and had a really great summer. It was awesome. But I'm ready. I'm ready to roll and ready to be back with everyone here.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Michael, what'd you do this summer? Besides the summer wrap up.
Yeah, I traveled a bit, right? So I was out by your way, got back down to Trinidad. So it's been a good summer. It felt like the first summer, actually. It's my first summer.
Right.
Did you travel at all this summer?
Yes, I did. I did get one trip in. I
Nice.
visited Barbados. Beautiful.
Oh,
Just
nice.
laid on the
Awesome.
beach, drank some things, got some stuff done. It was a very productive trip.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, I myself had a good summer. I went to Trinidad. I was in New York. I was a few places. I hung out with Michelle and Michael. And then I moved. I'm still in Orlando. So we just moved to a new space. So we're just kind of trying to connect all the dots. But super glad to be back for the show because, again, this show is such an important show. And I mean, I've been watching some of the clips, going back over some of the shorts. It's really been so informative, such great information. And I'm just really excited to be back with you guys and talking to small and medium businesses about this stuff because it's so important. And we really want to make sure that they are moving their business forward. So we're going to jump into the show just like we usually do. And the first thing we're going to talk about is our hot topic segment. I miss our hot topic segment. So let's jump into the hot topics. What are we talking about today, this week with hot topics? Can I get a little applause for hot topics, or a little bit of we have Nia in the background doing all our ladies, don't forget your applause. All right. So what is our hot topic today? Michele, you are the one who are leading us. What's going on with hot topics today?
Oh, let me tell you, I had a list of things through the summer that I actually have been bookmarking, just waiting for us to come back to our season. The first one that I wanted to present to us is all about presence. This one is a lesson learned for all of us. This is some very engaging duo named Fresh and Fit. They have a YouTube channel, actually several YouTube channels. However, the one that came to me that I wanted to bring to our community was their livelihood has been placed at risk. They are on YouTube, very, very prominent group of people who were suspended from the partner program and demonetized because they were violating repeatedly YouTube's policies. What was really interesting about this one, and Nia, if you don't mind moving to the next slide, what was really interesting about this is that they are, as I mentioned earlier, have a multitude of other areas beyond the Fresh and Fit channel. Gains in Weeks is their last name, and they have a couple of other channels. So everything, not just the Fresh and Fit channel where there were violations, but anything that was attached to Gains in Week was also suspended from and demonetized from the YouTube channel. Now, why this is important is that in this, and if you don't mind moving forward to the next channel, 4 million followers. That's a big audience they have access to that were viewing their Fresh and Fit channel on an ongoing basis. Here's the lesson for us. We spoke about this last season and in season 1 as well, is in that you as a small business owner need to make sure that your company has an omni-channel strategy and a presence across multiple spaces. This includes every multiple revenue generating avenue that you have within your business plan. In other words, don't be beholden to one location for you to gain a revenue stream and your livelihood for your company and life's blood is dependent upon. If you don't mind moving to the next slide, Nia. This is important because we need to own our relationships. We've said that many times in an offline fashion, not just through the social media spaces and anything in the interwebs that's connected, but have an online strategy and understand when you are playing in these spaces, what are the rules of engagement? What are the policies that are required of you to adhere to in order for you to maintain a partnership agreement with any one of these sources? Is this aligned with the business practices for your business, for the health and well-being? Do you agree with them? And if you do, you have to adhere to them if you're going to move your business forward. And if it isn't, move your business to a place that aligns with your best practices, aligns with your mission and your beliefs so that your business can move forward in the upward trajectory, as we say in your business and digital. We want your business to move forward. But this was a hard lesson learned. If you haven't seen this before, go back on YouTube, find their visual, because one of the co-hosts was practically in tears wondering how they were going to maintain their following and trying to move their audience from YouTube to another space that had less than a third of its following that they had on YouTube. So this is a huge lesson for us to pay attention to. And as we say here in Your Business and Digital, have an omni-channel presence, own your offline presence, because things like this will happen. And this one was intentional from YouTube, but there could be a mistake where something was disconnected and your life's blood for your business is just completely cut off.
Well, also learn the rules of the platform, right? And follow the rules. If you don't own the platform, you got to follow the rules, right? I understand that, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes we want to step outside the box. But if you decide to play in their space, you're within that box. So follow the rules. Like I just like
Follow the rules. Tamara, and what's so interesting about this group is they were smelling themselves, as my grandmother used to say. They kept pushing the envelope and pushing the envelope and pushing the envelope, knowing they were riding on the edge of YouTube and had been repeatedly advised that, hey, pull back. You're in the space that's not good for our overall view of what we're trying to do here in YouTube. And they kept pressing on. And YouTube said, okay, you tried me one too many times. We're done. Let me you pocket to prove a lessons to you and to many others who were in that space as well. So you're right. If you want to play, you have to understand the rules of engagement and adhere to them or suffer the consequences as this group has.
100%.
Oh my God, moving 4 million people. Wow. Like that's just not going to happen, right? It's like 4 million people do not want to move.
And I think, I can't recall the other place that they wanted to move people to, but it had less than a third of the following they have on YouTube. It was about 300,000, if that much, on the other space that they were trying to move them to. So
listen, everything we're going to show today, we've talked about, right? So we are talking about, if you're cultivating that audience, your audience starts to get large. Is it in a space that you own? And if it's not, what do you do about it? Because you don't want to be in this position for any reason, So, you should be looking at, yes, sure, we use these platforms to get our visibility, to grow our audiences. But as the audiences start to become large or become to that size that we want, what do we do? But where do we move them? Email is always the answer for us. Get their emails, make sure you can connect with them. But yeah, moving to demonetize at that level is really pretty horrific, right? I don't know what other word to use.
and
I look at this story and usually I would talk about compliance, right? In my space, compliance looks like complying with laws and regulations, your taxes, etc., the filing of documents. And I would usually tell people, the cost of compliance is a penalty or a fee, right? And this is a indicator of how in your own operations, you're losing revenue by not complying with this law, with the people's internal policies. It's not something national. It's not logistical in where you're living, but just how you're operating your business. Be mindful that you can lose revenue. So rather than having to dip in their pocket and pull out a fine, right, which is probably what they were probably budgeting for. They were probably thinking, oh, well, if they slap us on the wrist, and which is what some people do, right? They dance on the edge of compliance and they think, well, if the fine is $5,000, I'll just budget to pay that. But here's where your operator is saying, you know what? No, we want to take it away from you. And now you lost the incoming revenue, which is, of course, the downfall of your company. So for me, I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, there's compliance again. There's the lack of compliance, taking away your money.
one of the things that crossed my mind as I was thinking about this was not just its effect on its channels and where the revenue was coming from, but more importantly, as their audience grew, did their key audience change? Did they have a specific show that was a bit volatile? Volatile is not the right word. It was splashy. Just to say nice, it was something that touched on the edge because they were on the fringes. And was that who they are? And they were finally getting the audience that they were seeking, or was that a mistake or something that just happened? And they said, let's just ride that wave. And their audience changed and their business model changed as a result of that show that moved things forward. I thought it was an interesting lesson for us to talk about because we speak to it often. Are you speaking to your right audience? Are you attracting the right people? We invite them into our space by the content we place out there. So did they lean into the real audience they wanted and found the sweet spot, but in the wrong place because YouTube said enough of you, enough of this? Or did they have a show that had a great topic for an audience that moved into that space, and they just kept moving along with it to their detriment. So it's something to think about. I think for all of our businesses too, as you're analyzing the data, is it giving you what you really want to have for your core audience as well?
Or are you just riding the wave? And Andrea, I love that comment about dancing on the edge of compliance. Like that is my we're back. I really love it. Yeah. But yeah, I would, Michelle, I would be hard pressed to understand if they picked up a new target while they were moving along and they just ran with that. And just where's the operations? Where's the brand voice? Where's the brand identity? Where's the content plan? Where are all the things, right? So as you're running a business, you cannot freestyle all of this. You have to really pull together a strong content plan that connects with your audience, that connects with your products and services, right? And you can't just be in a space where you're just creating content to create content to get views and to get that visibility, because you could be drawing the wrong audience. You want to make sure that you're hitting your targets, right? And YouTube, while it's nice to monetize, we see how easy it is for them to take it away. So you want to look at alternatives as well too, right? While you're on YouTube, how are you also selling additional advertising and really creating your space, moving people off that platform? The right people who are interested will follow you and take that customer journey with you and really start moving through your sales funnel. So there's so many things in this that we could assess, but this was a great hot topic. Super excited that we started with this, but you know, we got to move the show along. So round of applause for you. No applause in the background. Where's applause? All right, I gotta go.
Yeah, missed the cue.
Right. It's all good. It happens. And Dana is saying to us, welcome back. Dana, thank you for joining us. Happy Monday. We're super excited to be back with you guys talking, you know, again, about your business in digital. So really great hot topic. So we're moving on right now. We're moving on to talk a little bit about building a strong foundation for Q4 and the lessons from last season. So we talked about a lot last season. Last season was, I mean, the content was game changing. We had so many amazing guests. So we had to do a recap. We understood that we had to do a recap and just highlight some of the things we talked about, because we're probably going to continue those same conversations this season, but we're going to go a little bit deeper, right? We're going to really find the outline for what the executive should be thinking about business to we talked about your website and your magazine, your video.
Oh, I thought so. I was just messaging in the background to see if that was me or if it was T. So
it's a live show. These things happen on a live show.
And she's in a new place. But we got you. We got you. She's trying to come back.
We're brushing off all the cobwebs. We're brushing off all the tech issues that we might have. This is a live show, and this is what happens, right?
Well, what are we doing? We're talking about all the things from last season. While we wait for it to come back, we can continue on. So let's hit clip number 1. What are we doing? Oh, no, we have to put up that slide, Beyond the Likes, new segment. Thank you, Nia. So this is our segment, Go Beyond the Likes. Here at Your Business in Digital, it's always about going beyond the likes. What are those deeper metrics? What are those deeper tactics that you need to employ to drive revenue for your business? So this morning, happy Monday morning, 1 month away from the end of September, we are going over some of the things that we talked about last season that make sense, that are important for you to, keep an eye on as we head into Q4, end of year. So what's the first one here?
Your website, right? You want to answer these 7 critical questions, because I think this is what's going to help you start thinking about it. This is before you decide on the design, the tone of voice, any of those things. You're thinking about, I want to redesign my website. What are the questions that you should ask, right? So I love that you went there. So I'm going to kick this one.
So that was always a good topic. I mean, websites and what we do with our websites is always a great place to start, right? Our website is not a magazine, as we've said before. It is a functional tool, and it is meant to get revenue, to earn a return on that investment, because it costs money to put up that website. It costs money to maintain it. It's not free. It's not, it's not absolutely free. It's not 100% free. And we want to make sure that, your website is actually performing. So having that process, getting into that website, knowing which questions to ask, absolutely great place to start. Tamara, are you back? Just checking. Not quite yet. Yeah.
Yeah,
We can hear
I
you.
am back, I
Can't see,
think.
but we can hear you.
Okay. All right. Well, this sucks. Pouting over here, but that's all right. Have we played the first clip already?
We played some of it, not the entire clip, but yeah, we're going.
Okay. So yeah, so we're talking about websites, right? And I think that was the episode that got the most viewership. And really, we want to be in a space where we understand that we're not functioning with our website like it is a magazine. We should be making updates, changes, putting new information on it, always giving Google an opportunity to go back and refresh and check stuff out. That's why having a blog could be important as well, as we dabble into our blog this season. So super important that you have all the right elements for your website. So on to the next clip. Point this number one, 5, I believe, is about that over to Michael to talk about a little bit.
All right, so this is operations. And again, this is going back to that, not a magazine. So we tend to start off, of course, with how will this website look? But we get trapped there, right? So it's, how is it going to look? What are the designs? Is it visually appealing? But there are many integrations that we have to consider. So you've got to have that integration plan in place. What are the tools that you need to integrate? You need to connect your email service, your email provider. You need to connect your shopping cart. You'll have several plugins depending on, again, your target audience and the core purpose of your website. You're going to have the relative plugins that you're going to have to choose and connect those as well. You have forms, abandoned carts, shopping carts, not abandoned carts. We don't want them abandoned just yet. So we want shopping carts. So you've got to have an integration plan. Identify all the other platforms that you need to connect to. For example, on the simplest level, you may be echoing some of your social media on your website. So you need a plugin for that. So you've got to make sure that you've run through and connected all these things and make sure they're connected correctly and working correctly.
So let's talk a little bit about that, those integrations. How many integrations are there for your website that you're probably not even thinking about as executive, as a CEO, right? There's so many integrations. There's the Google Analytics, there's your website forms, all the things that you need to actually move the business forward, to automate. So you want to think about the integration plan, and you want to be a part of that conversation, right? You don't want to leave it to the agency, and you don't just want to leave it to one person. You want to talk to the CFO, the sales team. You want to talk to operations to understand what are the things that they need from the website in order to sell better, in order to pull better numbers, give better estimates, get better forecasts. And from an operations standpoint, what are the things that they need on their website, on the website as well, for that information to come right back to them. So the integration piece is such a critical part of that. Guys, I know we've talked a little bit about the website. Jump in and talk a little bit about some of the integration elements that you've seen with your website.
For me, it's the of course, sales girl here, the shopping cart piece. It is not just, as Michael said earlier, the magazine. It is a revenue generator for your business. And if you don't have a key partner that is allowing you to convert quickly and in a very friendly, seamless way, and cross-sell and upsell, then that's two additional plugins that you could possibly have within your website pending the partner that you have. Then you're missing out on some important revenue and the opportunity to remain engaged with your potential clients as well as your existing clients. So those are some key plugins that I found valuable for my site.
For me, it really brings together what you want to achieve with the website, right? So Michelle is saying for her, it's a shopping cart. For me, it's not really about a shopping cart as it is about an experience of learning, right? You come to what I would want my site to be, because I'm still working on it, but the site would be more of a how do you learn? So for me, plugins would be where is my educational tools lying? Am I linking them back to a YouTube? Am I linking them back to things on social media? Or am I doing a blog? Am I integrating my videos in the website itself? So for me, it will be along the lines of that education, because that's my goal, and that it comes back to what is the goal that you set for yourself. It's not so much the selling, but for me, it's more about educating, because I think the education builds the brand equity.
Right. But you understand that selling or education, you need some integrations in your website for those things to work, right? And that's not something you could pass off to your virtual assistant, right? That's something that you kind of have to be like, okay, what are the things I might need to pay for? What are the things that are important? How does it work? What is the functionality? And what's the reporting that's coming back from it as well, too? Because that's going to help you to make decisions along the way. So those integrations become an important part of your metrics as well. So super important that when you're thinking about your website, you understand that it's not a magazine, and that is you are a key stakeholder as a CEO, CFO, wherever you stand in that executive team, that you are a key stakeholder and understand what happens on the website. All right, so we are going to move along, and we're going to move along to talk a little bit about one of my favorite topics. I nerd out on this all the time. S to the E to the O, SEO. So go for it, Nia. Play that clip. Moving on to your point number 2.
Yeah. So what's your approach to SEO, and how do you stay up to date on industry changes? So this is one. So I kind of organize these questions in a way in which to kind of get comfortable with someone. Kind of think of it like almost like speed dating in a sense. If you're really going through, or like you're doing like Love is Blind in a sense.
Love is Blind. The fact that he even brought that up is awesome. But everyone's been watching Love is Blind. Staying up to date with industry trends, for me is definitely one of those things. Talking to experts, watching shows like this, listening to podcasts, really dialing into a lot of those, where are the experts, right? And what are some of the Google searches that I'm getting, or some of the Google alerts that I'm getting to keep me engaged with the conversation. Now, as a small business owner, again, you don't need to know everything about it, but you need to understand where the trend's going. One of the trends, Eric, we actually just had a conversation with Eric the other day, and one of the trends he was talking about was really around not just search engines, but how do we become answer engines? And so in the future, right, and just like we started the show talking about the questions a lot, that's how you move to a place of really becoming an answer engine, because you start really identifying the questions people are asking, because even their behavior for search has shifted. So I think that's what he was going to say. I crack myself up when I laugh. Still, it's funny how when I see these clips, I'm laughing at the same points before. I'm like, oh, I did laugh there. Okay.
Yeah.
It's so funny to me.
It's like watching an episode of Friends. You already know the joke, but you're laughing anyway.
Correct. Yeah, that's a great analogy.
Right. But SEO is such an enigma to folks, right? The keywords, what are the right keywords? What should you do? SEO is shifting a lot because of AI. But I think we had some really core foundational elements there. How do you become the answer? Right. I remember when we worked with clients, we worked with Stay Free. and we were doing a project with them. And one of the things we did, we were doing a localized campaign in Trinidad that focused on, younger women. And what we tried to do was we tried to look in Trinidad to understand how people were searching for stay free, how they were searching for information just about the period, all that stuff. And that's what we used to actually create content. So we had people start answering those questions, right? We got with the doctor, she answered those questions. We had a group of people come together and talk about those things. So it was becoming the answer to the questions that people were asking, because people put a lot of information. We go into YouTube and we put in information in question format. So there's so many tools out there that we can use to understand what the questions are. So again, as an executive, right, you want to start thinking about the content that your business is creating, because you have to create content now when you understand that. So are you just creating content for social media, or are you creating that content that really starts to answer the questions that people are searching for? Because that's when you start really winning, right? Just imagine that someone searches and your content, your answer pops up because that's what they need. And then you start moving them down your funnel, right? You start them on a path to say, hey, this was the right answer. What more do they have? What more information can I get from them? And they will continue to move down the path if you're giving them the right answers. So SEO is about becoming the answer to the pain point that your customer is putting out there. And that's the content you should be creating, your business should be creating. So it moves away from that just creating content to create content. And I know some people just love to do that, right? It gets us a little bit more strategic, or a lot more strategic, I should say.
Yeah, it is. What I like, what I love about this is it's anticipating what your clients are asking for, and it's really heavy in two specific areas in the sales cycle to me. The know, like, trust factor. When you are putting out content and anticipating by having that content sit in your SEO, then you're saying to them, oh, I know what you need. I know you. I know that you need this information, so let me give it to you in a consumable fashion. One. Two, when they're farther down the sales cycle, when they're just about to buy, and they have those fine-tuned questions that they need to ask and have answered by you somehow, some kind of way, when you're anticipating those final questions being asked in an FAQ form or in some other area of your site, you're anticipating that final request, and you're serving that information up to them because they're searching for that information too. They're literally typing in that information, like, how in the world do I pivot? Show me some pink lipstick. I need it in this specific color. Well, is it paraben free? Is it all of these things that they may need? So when you're anticipating and placing that information within your SEO, you are feeling familiar to them. You're feeling like they can trust you in your business. So it's really important in the relationship component, but the know, like, trust factor of your business raises really high when you're anticipating and providing that information in the SEO.
And we've got to think search across platforms. I think we have a tendency, or businesses can have a tendency, we say SEO and we think website. And we are talking anywhere we perform searches, because that's a behavior. Behavior search is looking for a solution. When I am searching, that's the only purpose I have, to find a solution to answer a question, right? I'm not searching for a problem. Where can I find, problematic cars? Like, no, I'm not searching.
That is so true.
Right?
You're searching for a solution.
I'm searching for a solution.
You're answering, you're searching, you're relieving that pain.
Entertainment. I'm not, achieving this goal. So I'm searching for a solution in this space. So answering those questions, wrapping your head around that and making sure that you understand that more platforms operate as search engines, and making sure that optimization is across all platforms, not just your website. So when we say SEO, we are not just talking website, we are talking search on the whole.
And you're right, Michael. I can't remember because I did a whole lot of reading this summer. There are places that are being used as a search engine in TikTok, in Instagram. Their search model has become in YouTube. I did it in YouTube, searching for something. I didn't know exactly what I was looking for. So I put in a long term and then eventually modified down. And those that caught my attention were those that had SEO. They served up what I was looking for. And it wasn't just in the Google machine. It was in a couple of other different places. So very, very true, Michael.
And on which platform also kind of tells you the way in which the user, your customer, wants to absorb that information. If they jump to YouTube, they are looking for an explanation video. They're looking for a visual answer. If they're on Pinterest, they're looking for, something short, something they can digest, that's like one slide, one screen. If it's LinkedIn, they're looking for professional bias, right? They're looking for a professional sounding board. So easy places to start when considering platforms and searches, right?
Go, Andrea.
I would just say it's such an interesting what we're discussing here in terms of being the answer. The past 2 weeks, I did some workshops with a local group of business owners here in Trinidad, and I started doing this thing, and it's something I started doing just generally when I do workshops now. Before I start speaking, before I start presenting, I ask them, based on the topic that you came here to learn about today, just give me any question you want answered, because I feel like people need to leave that they with value, right? They leave with a solution. And it was amazing to see. I call it question roulette because, I mean, just like Russian roulette, you don't know what they're going to ask, right? And some of them, they really asked me some questions that I had to take a while to answer. But what it was interesting was I did that for about 6 days, right? It was different groups, but it's the same presentation every day. And it was amazing the amount of information I got back by allowing them to drive the questions at the start, right? And the way that I was able it was the same presentation I was doing every day, but the spin that I was able to take on it every day differed because I kept referring them back to, well, you asked me this question at the start. At the start of it, this was what you said that was of importance to you, right? And I think that's a bit of SEO, but offline, right? Because I let them drive the conversation a bit. And I use it as, well, hold me accountable. We're not leaving here until the questions on that board get answered, right? And you have to tell me that you've answered it, that I have answered it sufficiently. And I found that to be a very refreshing exercise. Of course, I took my notes on stuff because I know that's some serious content coming out there, because I realized these are the questions that they're probably Googling. Right?
Exactly.
These are the questions that they were Googling that I didn't have.
Exactly.
But you see that connection. Go.
Sorry. Yeah. So one thing that she said that I just wanted to touch on. So we're talking about being the answer, but not necessarily being the solution. So I just want to differentiate that, because I can be the answer,
correct,
but not necessarily the solve, right? So I'm giving information around it. I'm giving you answers. I am giving you answers. Does that solve your problem? Not necessarily. You still come back to me because I was that source of information. But you don't always have to provide an actual solution necessarily. You just have to be, exactly as Andrea is saying, answering questions. That is just huge as far as authority, trust, everything.
Answer the question. Yeah, it was a lot of answering questions and then provoking them to go back. Because at the end of it, I was like, okay, I just want you to understand enough so that you have a better conversation with the people that you should be having these conversations with. Right. So whether it's going back to the authorities because it was something on taxation, when you go to the authority and you're doing a transaction, you want to be able to interact better because you want to have a better understanding, or whether it's to go back to your own accountant. I can't be the accountant for everybody. You have your accountant. Go back and say, hey, I learned about this today. Can you show me where this is in my business? Have we been doing this? I think that was really empowering for them, and it was very thought-provoking for me as well.
And as well as it now gives you the right content, right? You said that it gives you the content that you need to put online, and now you understand how to better optimize that. So here's that marriage of online and offline, because sometimes when we're thinking about digital, we're thinking about it as just digital, and you have to connect the dots for the business. This is the entire ecosystem, right? Offline, online, and that what you did was work from an offline standpoint, and now you're going to translate that into online. So you're going to find those people that are looking. And then then I think the opportunity to create the solution or to become the solution gets further down the funnel, right? But you're creating that right customer journey to build trust. So I'm getting the time check for this segment in the back. Nia's like, gotta go. But round of applause, Andrea, Michele, Michael, love the answer. We're gonna give a quick round of applause. All right, let's move on to our next video. For business growth, because you started talking about it. So jump in.
It is, in a nutshell, how are you going to close a sale if you don't have a lead coming in? It is your business. It is the beginning of you making money for your business. So think about the cash register ringing. Before that register can ring, and I know I'm aging myself when I say this, what it is it's allowing business to come through the door and for someone to say, yes, I'm interested in what you have to offer. And from that point, they go through your sales journey and eventually say yes to the product and service that you're offering, which will generate revenue for your business. So your leads are going to be imperative for you to make money.
Absolutely.
Your leads are imperative for you to make money. So let's talk about that, right? Lead generation is one of the things that we get from our clients all the time, right? How do I generate leads? Could you generate buzz? Could you generate visibility? Absolutely. But how do you generate those right leads? And we started off by talking about SEO and talking about that content, right? That's really the flow. It's creating that right content that draws them in, that then starts moving them down to a place where they're like, man, this person does have all the answers to all the questions that I'm asking, and then presenting them with a solution. And that's the idea where you start moving people to a place of, yes, this is a lead, a viable lead, a warm lead that you can move through an email sequence, that you can connect to a salesperson. It can become a marketing assisted lead, however you want to frame it up. But it connects back to that content. And it's important that your online presence is working to drive you leads, and not just, again, getting back to that place of you don't want your website to just be this magazine. It should be this tool that drives leads for your business. Your entire online presence, right? Website, social media, all the things should work to drive leads. So you should be always thinking about, how am I connecting this leads? Where am I asking for the email address? Where am I asking maybe for the phone number if I'm doing text messaging? Where am I asking for them to come into a smaller group with me and spend some more time with me so I can build that one-on-one connection? How do I build that trust and get them to a place to give me something that's important to them, whether it's email, phone number, or some more of their time? So that lead generation, you should be setting up your online presence to generate leads. And this is where, again, as an executive of the business, you should be thinking about that, right? Is my website, is my online presence really working to drive leads for me? And if it's not, how do I adjust that? That's a part of the conversation. You need to be a part of that conversation with the agency or whoever you're working with, right? With your marketing team. It's important that you're a part of that conversation, that you have all the key stakeholders as a part of that conversation, right? Operations, finance, and sales should all be a part of the lead gen conversation because it connects back to those folks. So I'm going to pass it off to operations, finance, and sales now to say their piece.
So I know lead generation, as I said, it's the lifeblood. You've got to keep generating those leads, but you get into operationally, you need to be able to sort those leads, right? You've got to be able to, so what's going to happen? You're going to put out that content, just everything Tamara just said, you're going to put it out, but you're going to get leads that are not relevant. You're going to get leads that are, maybe not your ideal customer. So you've got to have that process in place to say exactly as Tamara was saying. So at which point do you ask for that email? Are you defining that at this point, I have somebody who's more engaged, who's actually my ideal customer? I'm asking at the right point. If I ask too early, then I'm creating a large list of emails that are non-relevant. And I'm paying for those, right? The email is not free. Nothing's free. I'm going to be saying that a lot this morning. Nothing is free. So you've got to manage those sorting of those leads. You've got to drive those leads, and then you've got to sort those leads. So that's an important part of that operational piece. That flow defines that, I'm going to get these leads with this type of content. These leads that I get are this point in their customer journey, and this is how I'm going to move them through and continue sorting to get to that conversion ratio. That's my absolute endpoint.
One of the things I think it's really important as we are looking at the leads, we invite people into our world. You know, we are inviting them in by the content that we put out there. So that lead that's coming into us, we want our content to be very relevant to the audience, our target audience that we want to attract into our business. So that's really important. We can have a lot of leads coming in, but we don't want that to be garbage leads. So the content that we put out there, it's important because volume isn't the most important thing. It's good leads coming into your business so that your conversion ratio is higher. So bring it in, but have it be the people that you want to invite into your world, not just to have a lot of leads that are coming in. So the content that you're putting on in any one of the spaces that you're in is really important so that it is attracting the people that you want to work with, that you want to buy your products or services. So that's going to be key in what you're putting out there as well. So the intent is really important.
Yeah, because I mean, we want good quality leads because you don't want to spend money trying to convert them into good quality leads. We want them from the start so that at a minimum, we're not spending too much money trying to convert them and trying to manage that with customer acquisition costs, right? We want to make sure that that's as low as we can get, to maximize our profitability because it takes a lot to bring this humongous. So the numbers might look good. You might get influx of leads, but if it's not the right thing, you're actually spinning top in mud a bit, spending money now to figure out that they're not good leads. And then you have to push them out the door or send them in another direction, right? And then go back out again and get the leads that you actually want. So I think yes, it has a financial impact. It's not just about how the website looks and the type of people. It's not just an operational and a sales thing. The finance thing is it will cost you money if you don't get hit those numbers the right way. It could cost you some money. And then you that's why it will look like, but I have so much people, coming in. I'm doing the calls, or I have X amount of followers, or I'm getting this. And that's what we say, go beyond the likes, right? Because at the end of the day, those people aren't actually helping you convert, and that costs you money the more people that you bring in that not converted.
I love that you guys talk about it's the quality, right? It's not the amount of the leads, it's the right quality of leads. And finding ways to, I think Michele says this all the time, invite people out, right? The right lead takes the steps to get to that place, right? So you have to not make it a gauntlet, but you have to make it a series of steps that really matter to them, that answers their questions. But then you have to start getting things from them, right? The first step is an email. You give out a little bit more content, then they give you something else, right? At some point in time, it becomes this give and take, this really nice dance that happens through the customer journey to really qualify these leads. Qualification is really important with your lead generation. Any marketing agency can roll up on you and be like, hey, we can generate, I hear it all the time, right? All the magic ones. We can generate 1,000 leads for you a month. Well, do I really need 1,000 leads a month? You know what I mean? That's a little scary. I want more quality leads. I may need 2 or 3 leads a month, depending on where my price point is. The other thing you want to think about, and this is a little sales funnel conversation, you want to think about how long does it take to close the deal, right? If your price point is $50, you can probably move someone to a place of closing the deal with you relatively quickly. If your price point is maybe $4,000 or more, it's going to take time for someone to say, let me just give you $4,000, right? It's going to take them a little bit of time. So you need to also understand your sales cycle. So there's some really important factors for the executives to understand as lead generation is happening, because you can get these leads, but it may take 2 months to get them to give you $4,000. And the higher the price point could be the longer time, right? We understand that when we're working with customers, it takes about 3 months to close a deal, right? It takes about 3 months because we're asking them for a pretty penny, right? We're not asking them for $50. And we're also saying to them, these are the things that we're going to do for you. So as an executive, as a key stakeholder, You want to understand, hey, how long does it take for my lead to convert? And what are the steps that my leads are willing to go through? They should be able to qualify them. They should be able to tell you what's their budget. They should be able to tell you what their goals are. They should be able to answer some key questions so you can really, really qualify those people. So, all right, lead generation. I know we have a few minutes left, so we have to get this next thing in. So I'm gonna move on quickly. So Nia, AI is our next conversation. Let's jump in with the clip.
My vegetables and getting things in the right way. One of the quotes that I love is basically the saying that the music is not in the piano. There's a lot of things that AI can do more quickly, do more intelligently, but there's other things that you just need that final shaping and you need that final knowledge. You know, AI is not going to Photoshop my soul. It's not going to replace who I am. And the human element is going to be there, particularly, I mean, I'm on the educational side of publishing, and there's going to be a need for the human connection. There are things that the technology and AI will do increasingly well in terms of teaching grammar, in terms of doing feedback and helping people learn. But yet we all love a tutor. You can have a virtual tutor, but you cannot learn, you can't learn how to play tennis by watching a YouTube video. You just can't. And you need to be around other tennis players.
Oh, so good.
Oh, I so enjoy him.
Right? It's like so many people are scared by AI, right? The AI conversation they make people nervous. They make people really uncomfortable. And they make businesses nervous. They make people feel like I'm going to lose my job. So
Perfectly timed. Perfectly timed. Yeah.
you're not going to lose your business. AI has no soul. Maybe it will in 40 years, maybe it will in 20 years. But for right now, you have to start thinking about, how do I better utilize AI to save me time? Can it save me time? But you must do the adjustments, right? You must jump in there, take that content that AI has produced for you and add your voice to it, right? What you're getting is probably, 60% of the way, and you have to add on the painting, your brand, all the things that take it to the next level, right? So you start with the foundation elements, because it's the information that you're also putting into AI that matters. The information you put into AI, the information that you take out of AI, and then how you tweak that information to really get to your brand voice. AI has no soul, right? And you, as the business owner, what you're bringing to the table is your soul. That just sounds weird. You're bringing your soul.
He went deep with that one. He did go deep, right?
But you're bringing your soul to the business, right? So that really matters. Do not let AI, don't be fearful of AI. We have been using AI for probably about 2-3 years within the business. All together as human beings, we've been using AI for over 10 years. We've been socialized in so many ways, right? To use AI, maps, navigation, Alexa, Siri, Chat GPT jumped out the door and everybody was like, and I was just like, they've been socializing you and preparing you for AI for the last 10 years. So don't let one brand name throw you off your game. Understand how to better utilize AI to support you and your business.
Yes. What I enjoy about it is, it's putting your voice there. And I'm just going to throw something in there for the first time today. Your lanyard, which is something extra that you're putting into the putting out prompt of it all can if you put your voice to it and set yourself apart. Otherwise, what it's doing is bringing in everything that it's learned from everyone else and normalizing you and making you vanilla. And that's not what you are. You're a whole lot of spice, and there's a whole lot of extra, cinnamon that's involved in there, or some other spice that's there. So you have to infuse you into this. Otherwise, you're going to sound like everybody else out there. So why would someone that you're trying to bring into your business choose you when you sound like everybody else? Why? So you've got to insert you into the equation.
I'm reminded of, and I'm going to show the age here, right? Back in Sesame Street days, there was a song, "There is only one me," and it used to be, "There is only one me," right? So I think people need to think about it that way, right? AI can help you do things, and and I'm using this example because how I just came out from my workshop scenario the past 2 weeks. You could even if you were to take the book that I gave you, right? Let's just say the book that I gave you in the workshop, you can't take how I delivered it. You can't take that unique thing that I brought that day or those days, and that unique perspective that I gave to each and every group. So you could even take the slides if you wanted. You could take the things that I typed up there, but you can't take away, which could have been created by AI, right? So AI could have helped me develop, what I wanted to say on the slides. It could have helped me develop the book. But the way that I have interpreted it and the way that I have converted it to you, I guess that's the soul that we're talking about. And that's a uniqueness that we need to bring as persons, because I'm one in how much ever millions of accountants that is on the face of this earth, right? We all pass the same qualification, most of us. So how am I going to differentiate myself to say something that other people are not saying, and say it in a way that nobody else is saying?
We only have one, your virtual CFO. I'm sorry, Miss Andrea, only one.
Only one, right? I love that. Between Andrea and Cinnamon over here. I'm just I think that's going to be a new name this season, Cinnamon. All right, so round of applause for Cinnamon. Anyway, on to our next clip. One last clip before we head out. So definitely drop that clip, Nia.
Dreaming and the planning stages part to start this business, invest money in it, right? And ultimately, that's what you're doing. You're minimizing and eliminating risk, so, and the better you are at it, the more that you will have to preserve for the next generation, for your family, right? So when I talk about protecting, it's like buying real estate. Real property, Andrea, is real estate. Intellectual property is real estate of your intellectual brilliance. Right? Having a deed, when you register the trademark and the copyright, you get certificates. These are deeds of things that you own, of real estate in your imagination, right? So these are assets that you're protecting. So that in the same way, when you have an agreement of your ownership structure, the board and your shareholders, and the shareholders agreement and the operating agreement, that's another documentary evidence of protecting and safeguarding your business. When you have your will and your trust as to how you want your affairs to be handled, that's another documentation of your legacy, of how you want your business and your legacy to be transferred.
Always an exciting conversation when Marlon comes.
Oh, always excited. And legal and digital, I mean, there's so many things happening with legal, digital, AI right now. But what I love that Marlon really preaches is about that intellectual property, protecting it, trademarks, all the things that really matter. Of course, we, to toot our own horns, through Marlon, we own the trademark Go Beyond the Likes, which I'm super excited about. That is our first piece of intellectual property that we are owners of that. So that's really exciting. But as a business owner, you should be thinking about those things. You should also think about that content, right? Marlon kind of guided us through that process as well, too. All this content that you're creating, how do you find ways to make sure that you're copywriting it, that you're keeping your content, that you're aware, this is the content I'm creating, this is mine, this is my intellectual property. It's the deed to your brain, right? The deed to the stuff that you create. So important that you think about those legal ramifications.
It's so important that you're looking ahead, because if your goal is scaling, you're growing your business. He was really making that point that we wait till it's something happens for us to take those actions, right? And if you are in that growth phase, if you want to be looking ahead, you want to be thinking ahead, we are talking about protecting your business, from the get-go, not when you've grown, not when you've become a lot of eyes on you, because the bigger you get, of course, you become a bigger target.
I remember when he was speaking, the words that came to me were more in the medical realm of preventative maintenance. We are, take care of it ongoing so that it doesn't become a problem later on. And in a legal way that's going to cost us more in the long run if we don't pay attention to it now.
100%. 100%. Take care of it now. Andrea, what you got?
No, I just remember how much I love that episode, because I mean he was just speaking my language in terms of how everything ties back to potential money, or potential revenue and that kind of thing. So the fact that you this, and I love how he said it, D to your brain. That's just what you were speaking about before with that uniqueness, right? Well, how do I take this unique spin that I put on things that are already out there, and how do I protect it? How do I continue to make money off of it, and somebody just doesn't take my words and go with it? So I think it's really important for persons in, especially in our space, because I think he really opened our eyes to the concept of protecting that mind. Everybody knows to put patent your physical product. I think that's what everybody accustomed doing. They have a recipe for something, or they make this specific thing, they go and they get it patented. But people don't necessarily think about, well, the words that you say and that creative thing that you have, protecting that. And I think it was spot on.
It is always a pleasure to have Marlon Hill here with us. So shout outs to you, Marlon. Shout out to all the clips that we watched today. I can't tell you how excited I am to be back with you guys. This is always a great time to just have your intellectual property. You guys are so smart. I love it. So to just have, someone from finance who is working with us and thinking about digital and seeing how this connects back to the dollars in the banks, to the bank, thinking about sales and how this connects back to digital, thinking about operations, right, and how that connects back to digital, thinking about the marketing, how it connects to digital. How do we get this holistic view of all the key stakeholders of your business, thinking about your business in digital? See what I did there? Thank you. I don't know. That applause was kind of weak. I was kind of weak. That was the end of the applause. I'm like, there you go. So much better. So, we're super excited to be back for season 3. This Wednesday, we are excited to have Dr. Siobhan Joseph with us. She is medical director at Azalea Health, and she is killing the game through digital and her business. She's a client of Andrea's. She is a friend to Monovan Digital. She's a friend to Lanyap Digital. We all love her so much. But she's doing some amazing things with her medical practice through digital and really moving her business forward 100% online, moving her business forward through all these digital elements. So we're super excited to have her share with us this Wednesday. But I'm so glad to be back with you guys. Nia, put up the thing. So connect with us, right? Connect with us on YouTube, connect with us on LinkedIn. We are at Your Business in Digital. Listen to us across anywhere podcasts are found, right? We're on Spotify, we're on Apple, we're on Amazon. We're pretty much everywhere you can find a podcast, so definitely listen to us. We are here talking to you, the business stakeholder, to the CEO, to the CFO, to the CMO, to the manager of operations, the director of the team. If you are thinking about how to move your business forward in digital, you want to move that conversation to a place of, here's 10% of my revenue growth through digital. I'm seeing 20% of my revenue growth through digital. This is where you want to be. This is the conversation you want to listen to. We're talking about trends. We're talking about things that are happening in digital, hot topics. We bring everything to you here at this show, Your Business in Digital. And of course, we have all the right players with us, right? We have a representative from finance. Could you put your hand in the air? Sales, could you put your hand in the air? Operations, could you put your hand in the air? Marketing, my hand's in the air. So all of us are here to talk to you about your business in digital. So join us every Monday and Wednesday at 7 a.m. And Michael and I will be here on Fridays at noon doing the wrap up, no longer the summer wrap up, just the wrap up of the week, what we've talked about, and giving you definitely some actionable insights. So stay connected with us. Nia, thank you in the background for holding us down. Take a round of applause for yourself. We want to hear it. Super excited. She's not even applauding. Did she leave? All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And guys, we are out of here. Have an amazing, amazing Monday. And we will see you guys back here on Wednesday for the show. Take it easy. Bye.